think that trans people are creative geniuses. And I say that sitting here, and my girlfriend, who's also trans, is her painting studio. So she's a creative genius, but it's not just, art and culture, but also even like technology. Like I think about Wendy Carlos, who made the first synthesizers in the 1960s, or Martine Rothblatt, who created satellite radio technology and a lot of other technology. So they're like trans innovators. And I think trans people, something about the trans experience allows us to be really innovative and think outside the box. And that's why I love living in the community of trans people that I do in New York City, because there's so many trans creative geniuses here who are doing painting or writing or drag, just different art. I do think that I create community in difficult circumstances. So professionally, I used to work at Cal Nord Community Health Center, and now I work at NYU Langone Health. And over time, I've become more and more specialized in gender affirming surgery. And during that time, I myself have been a patient and have been seeking gender affirming surgery and recovering from gender affirming surgery. And going through that process. And in that capacity, I've been a peer supporter and a peer educator, both in like online support groups, so facilitating online support groups. I've been facilitating in-person support groups here in New York City, presenting at like community conferences and other sort of education events, and just supporting, my own trans friends and family as they've undergone surgery. And surgery is such a personal journey that we all come into with our own, expectations and motivations and needs. And so even when the outcome of surgery is like exactly what we expected it to be, which nothing in life is exactly what we expect it to be ever, even when things are, exactly what we expect them to be, it's still normal to be frustrated and even to have a grieving process around having to have surgery in the first place. And so even while we know that the end result for all of us can be something that is joyful and amazing, in the meantime, it can be really intense and really individual to go through seeking and recovering from gender affirming surgery. And so trying to build community around something that's so intense and so individual can be really difficult. But I've personally benefited from being in those communities. And so I know that it's something that's possible and that we all should hopefully have access to. So I've been building skills, I hope, around creating some of that community for these diverse experiences that we have and for being able to build solidarity with other trans people. And it's something that I hope to be able to continue sharing with trans and non-binary people and with the world at large. For me, quitting smoking really felt like really like black and white, like I was a smoker and now I'm not. And also it felt like something that was all on me, or like that I did. And but that's also not to say that it was quick. It took me like 4 years in total to really like go from getting serious about quitting smoking to being like done. And all of it, like even when it was really bad and I hated it, it still felt like, oh, I'm doing this. Like it's something I can do. Even, I would not smoke for a week and go, and that felt terrible. And then I would start smoking again. And even that sort of like wobbling back and forth, it was like, oh, I quit for a week. Like I can do that much. And that was really like that whole transformation was, I learned like I can do it. I can be the one who quit smoking. So it's funny, today, the day we're recording this is actually the day that medical students open an envelope. This Friday is match day. They open an envelope and find out where they're going to be training. and what kind of doctor they're going to be. So actually, I'm applying to medical school in this cycle, which means that in 5 years, on this day, it will be the day when I open that envelope. Hopefully, you know, if everything goes to plan, that I open that envelope and find out where I'm going to be training and what kind of doctor I'm going to be. So that's where I am in terms of, you know, what I'm hoping for. And who knows what that day will bring in 5 years if everything goes to plan. But, you know, as a trans person who wants to be a physician, the only way I've even been able to get to this point is other trans and non-binary physicians showing me that it's possible to be on the other side of that and to be trans in medicine. And of course, you know, also cisgender allies and LGBT allies who have, you know, really helped me to understand how much I'm bringing to the table and how much I can contribute that I didn't necessarily see myself. So I'm so grateful that I've already gotten a lot of support from trans people and from like the establishment who have helped me know that I can walk through this door. But in the meantime, you know, I've been privileged and not everyone has that support, and it can be so high cost to pursue a career in medicine, not just like financially, it can cost a lot of money, but also in terms of just the time and energy it takes to learn all of the steps and all the things you're supposed to do that aren't necessarily written down somewhere, the hidden curriculum, they say, of like what is expected of you. And so that takes energy and time to learn if you're not someone whose parents were doctors or who comes from that world. So breaking the mold of what's expected for you, either as a trans person or in different communities, is like takes so much energy. And so we need a lot of support. And I would really love to see more training programs that are recruiting trans people to you know, careers in medicine or other careers that they're interested in. Everything should have a training program for trans people, I think. But I really hope that society can support other people like me who are interested in this.